Hey, what's going on everybody? James here, and today we are back with another watch review. So I'm excited about this one. We're talking today about the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra 150 meter GoodPlanet edition. So this was a watch that was released originally as a GMT in 2013, and then in 2016 they released this same version of the watch, but in the Aqua Terra regular style, just like this one. So the watch was released as a partnership between Omega and the GoodPlanet Foundation, which is an organization that had a big commitment to environmental conservation. So kind of an interesting partnership, something that you see Rolex do often with its partnerships globally. So a portion from the proceeds of the sales of these watches went to that foundation. It's kind of a neat idea, neat premise, and that's what we're looking at today. So the reference is 231-9239-2104-001. So the case material here is actually titanium, and I've owned a couple of steel Aqua Terras before, but I'm excited about this one because you're getting grade 5 titanium, which is significantly harder than regular steel. And I do think that with the high polish on the case, it does tend to scratch easily. So I'm glad that you've got a titanium option here to help kind of mitigate some of that. Now the case itself is 38.5 millimeters in size, and the case thickness is just under 13 millimeters. So still a little bit on the thicker side for just a plain time and date watch, but you know what you get with Omega because of the coaxial movement, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The lug width is 19 millimeters spacing. So if you want to throw on an accessory strap, you have some options here. And then the lug to lug dimension, so here to here, which really has a big impact on the fit, is 45.5 millimeters. So very wearable on a smaller wrist, and I'll throw it on in a second. The movement is a tri-level coaxial 8500 series from Omega. The power reserve is 60 hours. You've got 25,200 vibrations per hour. So again, that coaxial beat rate, and 150 meters of water resistance. So now let me throw it on the wrist. And I do have small wrists here to the point where I'm gonna have to get the smaller accessory strap. So I'm gonna get this one swapped out because it still is gonna be too big for me even at the smallest setting. My wrists, for reference, are just under 15 centimeters in circumference, and so you can see it definitely looks pretty good as far as the way it wears, but the strap I'm gonna have to change out. The standard factory Omega straps are always a little bit too large for me, and that's just what I'm used to, so not a problem. Now, when we're looking at the actual strap itself, we've got this kind of canvas or almost sailcloth-like material. It's got a double stitch down the sides in contrasting white, which looks nice against the white dial. We'll talk about that in a second. You also have these rubber reinforcements around the holes where the pin from the clasp goes in. So a really reinforced setup here that I think will probably last a long time. Now, as far as the clasp, you're looking at also grade 5 titanium here. So you've got the standard Omega minderless system. So if you're familiar with Omega's clasps, I really do like them just because you don't have any loops around here to hold any extra strap. This nice little single fold deployment system works so that the remainder or excess strap goes right down underneath and just bends around your wrist, so you don't have to worry about having anything hanging out. It's a very nice setup. There's a little bit of a taper to it, so it's not a whole lot, but again, 19 millimeters wide at the lugs, and it does taper down probably to about 16 would be my guess, right at the deployment clasp here. So now, turning it around, let's look at the actual dial itself. So there is a really nice lacquered dial here. So I'm trying to get this in some good light. Essentially, this dial is a glossy white. So there are some dials that are a little bit more of a chalk or a matte white or like a silvery white. This one is definitely lacquered, and you can tell because it's got a real vibrant white color to it, and it really is lovely. Especially with the navy contrast. So you do have a minutes track with 5-minute increments in numerals around the outside. So that's always kind of a neat feature of the Aqua Terras that I do like. You have these indices that are blue with lume in the inside. So what you're seeing there, and I'll get a better light on it, you can see that they've got a really reflective kind of metallic quality to them. and they are loomed as well. So you get some really nice night viewing with the Aqua Terra models. Then going inward from there, we obviously have the Omega logo up near 12 and the Omega Seamaster text, again, all in blue, a very dark navy kind of blue that really only shows up, again, in lighting like this. Master coaxial chronometer, 150 meters, and of course 500 feet. And then you have also the hands themselves are blued, and a nice combination where you have loom on the hours hand here, you have a loom at the top of the minute hand, so you can always read that easily in the dark, and then you do have a loomed moving seconds hand, which is a great feature, just because then even in the dark, you can always tell that your watch is running. I've always appreciated that about Omega, and particularly with the Aqua Terras. Now, as far as the functions of the watch, there are some nice ones here, so it's worth talking about. This case style is the pre-2017 Aqua Terra case style, before they have the crown just sticking out at the normal distance on the case. So this crown is a little bit recessed, which is kind of a neat feature, just to make sure that you don't hit it, bump it. So on this watch, you do have the first position will wind the watch. So you're just winding up that double barrel setup. Again, 60 hours of power reserve there. If I pull it out one more setting, if I can get it here while I'm doing it on camera, it does not stop the watch. However, I do have the option now to independently adjust the hour hand. For this reason, Omegas are always some of my favorite travel watches, because not only can I adjust the hours, but I can also drive the date both forward and backwards with this system. So it's a real handy setup. Again, traveling does it very well. And then if you do pull it out to the third position here, then you do have hacking seconds with the movement. So I also do like the little detail of the date window not having any outline or frame, and it just matches the color of the dial as well. So it also has a nice white color that blends right in. Now, flipping the watch over here so we can see the back, you've got a couple things going on, which are pretty sweet. So as Omega movements usually do, you have this kind of arabesque Côte de Genève on it, so kind of a cylindrical Côte de Genève, obviously mechanically applied, but it still has a very clean look to it. You can see Omega Coaxial 8500 there, and then as you're looking around the outside, you're going to see a couple of things. So obviously Aqua Terra, you can see the call out to the GoodPlanet Foundation there at the top in blue, and then you have a couple of word marks here that are anti-magnetic, greater than 15,000 Gauss, and then the SI14. So SI is Omega's representation of the fact that this watch has a silicon hairspring, which really makes it very anti-magnetic. So 15,000 Gauss, it says greater than, because these watches pretty much are resistant to any magnetism whatsoever because of that silicon hairspring. So very, very nice setup here. And then if you take a closer look at the movement, if I can get it in focus here, we've got a full balance bridge going across the top there. There are blackened screws, so not blued screws, but blackened. And then you can see, quite a few jewels in there. Again, just a really good overall construction of that tri-level coaxial movement. And then if I can get a good shot of it, you can see the barrels there, barrel 2 and barrel 1 closer to the camera. So that is the setup that Omega uses on many, many of their movements these days. So that is the Aqua Terra GoodPlanet. Throw it on the wrist one more time. And like I say, it does have a great color scheme to it. I always love navy and white. This one I think plays it very well. And it's another one of those color schemes from Omega where at certain angles, when the light is not there, it does look a little bit black. But then when you get it in the right light, you really notice the blue come alive. And of course, this back of my desk here is black, so it makes it easier on the contrast. But there are definitely environments in which the strap and the hour marker's hands all kind of look black. So I love when there's a little bit of a chameleon effect there that changes depending on how the light goes across the watch. So hope you've enjoyed this one. If you've not taken a look at my other watch reviews on the channel, check them out. And thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.